We don't think Yolanda's going to be on, so you're the welcomer.
I'm starting the live presentation.
Okay. Good evening, parents. I would like to welcome you to the Atlanta Public Schools Division of Academics Spring Family Community Cluster meeting. I'm going to review our agenda first and then circle back to have our presenters introduce themselves. So what you can be prepared to hear this evening is our APS 5. You'll learn a little bit more about that, and our APS Academic Recovery Plan, as well as our APS Summer Academic Recovery Academy, known as ARA, and all of the other course offerings that are happening this summer for your scholars. We will talk a little bit about the K-12 Universal Screener and give you an update there, and then go over our APS Parent Insights website. We'll have some time for question and answers. You can put your question and answers in the chat, and we will be happy to address those. So presenters for this evening, if you will go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Selena Florence, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning.
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Parker, the Interim Director of After School and Summer Programs.
Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Hervey. I'm the Director of Student Support and Intervention.
Good evening. I'm Monique O'Brien. I'm the Director of Research and Evaluation.
All right. Thank you to our presenters this evening. We will go over our APS 5, and why we're here with our strategic plan. We're excited to share our collective vision for the next 5 years. Our strategic plan, which is titled We Are APS, Building on Our Legacy, is about how we come together as a community to achieve our vision of a high-performing school district where students love to learn, educators inspire, families engage, and the community trust the system. The plan provides an intentional focus and direction for all of us as we move through the next 5 years. Reviewing our strategic priorities, our 4 key priorities are fostering academic excellence for all, building a culture of student support, equipping and empowering leaders and staff, and creating a system of support for schools. These priorities reiterate our focus on equity, excellence, and engagement here in Atlanta Public Schools. The APS 5 is our roadmap to accomplish academic excellence for all students. Take a look at this engaging video that explains a little bit more about what the APS 5 is.
What is the APS 5? The APS 5 is our term for a specific group of methods we're using to improve results for all students.
So, how did we come up with these 5 things?
We asked ourselves, when it comes to education, what is getting in our way that we can do something about?
What is a roadblock to progress that we can define and eliminate?
Inequity was the answer.
By the way, equity is the quality of being just and fair regardless of economic, social, cultural, and human differences among and between persons.
If you hear us say equity, that's what we're talking about.
Knowing that we need to give inequity the boot, we asked ourselves some more questions.
What works really well to help students do their best? And how can we make sure we're using the stuff that works really well everywhere so we can get better faster?
The APS 5 is our list of answers to these important questions.
Atlanta, just like school systems all across the country, has pockets of greatness and examples of excellence everywhere. And now we are focusing on 5 measurable methods we already know work great.
When everyone in every school has the same understanding of what to do and how to do it, and has the tools and support to get to work doing what they do best,
we know that's a winning formula.
This will help us do away with uneven results across schools and across groups.
It will help our teachers love what they do even more.
It will help our students love learning even more.
And it will help me
and me
and me graduate on time, ready and set for college, career, and life.
Thank you. So simply put, the APS 5 are the 5 evidence-based practices that ensure our students are meeting and getting everything they need to be academically successful. So let's go into the 5 just a little bit. You heard us mention data, which is used to drive all instructional decisions. We've got curriculum and instruction, which implements a rigorous and culturally relevant and linguistically responsive curriculum with fidelity. Whole child intervention, you'll hear more about some of that work tonight, but implement a whole child system of support that integrates SEL, learning behavior, wellness, and a comprehensive academic intervention plan. We also have personalized learning. This is the ability to use different flexible tools and technology to engage our students and personalized learning for every single student, as well as signature programming. This will strengthen the implementation and a focus on signature programming at all schools. And in response to the pandemic, APS wants to ensure that our students are on track and academically supported. The APS Academic Recovery Plan will include school-based intervention blocks in every school, summer instruction that aligns on a focus of literacy and mathematics, and our students will be assessed on their progress using a comprehensive assessment system. That includes K-12 Universal Screener for academics as well as behavior, and progress monitoring tools and daily assessments. So to learn a little bit more about our summer course offerings, I'm going to turn it over now to Cheryl Parker to preview our APS summer program offerings.
Thank you, Dr. Henderson Rosser. So I am again Cheryl Parker. I'm your Interim Director of After School and Summer Programs, and I'm here to talk about our 2022 summer offerings. ARA, also known as Academic Recovery Academy, actually it's the other way around. Academic Recovery Academy, also known as ARA. Here we are going to talk briefly about our key information. Our elementary and middle school students will have an opportunity to participate in ARA June 1st through the 30th. ARA will be held 5 days a week on a full school day schedule. As mentioned before, our academic areas of focus are literacy and mathematics. Our students will have an opportunity to participate in Power Up programming 90 minutes a day. Those programs will be held in the afternoon. All of our students in Atlanta Public Schools are welcome to register. However, identified students will receive individual invitation and should be strongly encouraged to attend. Those invitations were distributed via Infinite Campus and text messaging on February 21st. Our schools will also send those same invitations this week. Accommodations and teacher support for students with disabilities and English learners will also be provided during ARA. As previously stated, our programming will also integrate social emotional learning. Your students will be able to attend summer ARA based on their current enrollment. So if your child is attending school in person, he or she will have the opportunity to attend ARA in person. If your student is attending school virtually, your student will be able to attend ARA virtually. Transportation will be provided for all full-day students. Our high school key information is provided on your screen. The dates again for high school are June 1st through the 30th. If your student is enrolled in a course that requires an end of course test, those exams will be administered June 21st through the 24th. This year, our high school students will participate in a half school day schedule. Our area of focus for high school is credit recovery and graduation. As in previous years, Wings at Phoenix will continue to focus on seniors on target for summer graduation. A blended model of instruction where we have direct teacher instruction and Edgenuity will be offered at all of our high schools. AVA is the only virtual model or option for our students in high school. Students will be assigned a content teacher, and if working during the school day, students will have access to a virtual classroom with a content teacher there to answer questions and assist with learning. Social emotional learning is also integrated into the high school schedule, and our students with disabilities and English learners will also continue to receive accommodation and teacher support. And just like our middle and elementary students, transportation will also be provided. The registration window for all grade levels, elementary middle, and high school is now open. The registration window closes on April 10th. Once again, registration will close on April 10th. The registration forms are on our website, so please take an opportunity and check out our website so that your child and register your child for summer ARA. Our high school registration, however, is facilitated by our high school counselors. So ask your student to visit or make an appointment with his or her counselor to register for summer ARA. Nutrition will be provided, breakfast as well as lunch, to all of our students participating in ARA. And as I stated before, transportation will be provided for all of our full-day elementary and middle school students, as well as those half-day students in high school. If you would like for your student to participate in the Power Up program and the Power Up program only for elementary and middle school, you will need to provide transportation to and from that program site. Elementary and middle school students recommended for participation in ARA were identified using our MAP Winter RIT scores for students in grades kindergarten and first, and our Georgia Milestone Achievement Level for students in grades 2 through 8. We are anticipating a total of 11,223 students in our elementary and middle school space. Of those, 7,412 are elementary and 3,811 are middle school. As I stated previously, our students with disability and our English learners will also receive those accommodation and teacher support. So here you'll see how many of those students are identified as student with disabilities, English learners only, and those students who are both students with disability and English learners. Once again, our high school focus is credit recovery. We want our students to graduate on time, and we want to give them an opportunity to recover credits that they are missing. Here you'll see just a snapshot of the courses that need to be recovered on the screen. And these are not the only courses, that need credit recovery. But these 4 courses, 9th grade Lit, Algebra 1, American Government, and Biology, are typical freshman courses. And so this summer, your student will have an opportunity to participate and recover those credits. And if they so choose to work in the afternoon, then they will have that opportunity to do so as well. Our summer school sites are shown on your screen. We have several sites, and you'll see where, again, the virtual option is an option for our AVA students only. But we're designed to, these sites are designed for clusters. And so again, please check out those feeder schools and the clusters and the site in which these schools will feed into. Our elementary schedule. Our staff will arrive at 7:15 and our students will be served breakfast at 7:45. So if your student needs transportation, again, we will provide transportation. And so your students may arrive a little after 7:15, but definitely before 7:45 so that they can receive a hearty breakfast. After breakfast, he or she will participate in social emotional learning, followed by literacy, lunch, and mathematics. In the afternoon at 12:55, they will participate in Power Up programming, while our teachers will participate in professional learning. We will end our day with mindfulness, and our students will depart by 2:45. Our middle school schedule, employees will arrive at 8:45. And we will begin serving breakfast at 9:15, followed by social emotional learning, literacy, lunch, and a brain break in mathematics. Our students will participate in Power Up programming at 2:25, while our teachers are participating in professional learning. We will end our day with mindfulness, and students will be dismissed by 4:15. Our high school schedule. Our employees will arrive at 8:15, and we will begin serving breakfast to our students at 8:45. Again, social emotional learning will begin at 9:10, and then our students will have course 1, lunch, and then course 2. Once again, we will end our high school day with mindfulness, and the students will be dismissed by 1 p.m. Our teachers will also participate in professional learning, even at the high school level. Summer 2022 additional program offerings are before you. Again, as we have done in previous years, Atlanta Public Schools will offer CMC, Science and Math Summer Enrichment Academy, Level Up Mathematics, Fine Arts Camp, our famous Xanadu, APIB College Success Boot Camp, and as I mentioned earlier, Wings at Phoenix, which focuses on students who are on target to graduate in the summer. This year, we will have a Power Up program at our DLI sites, and so we're super excited about that. Again, our students who require extended school year will also receive those services. Kinder Camp, as well as our pre-K and Kinder Summer Transition Program. If your student is a rising 6th grader or a rising 9th grader, they too will have an opportunity to participate in a summer bridge program at their new school. At this time, I will pause for questions. If you have any questions, you may place them in the chat. Well, thank you for your time and attention. And as always, the opportunity to serve Atlanta Public School students. Thank you.
Good evening again, parents. At this time, we will share a little bit more about our universal screener, NWEA MAP. We talked about this screener in the fall, but we wanted to revisit some of the data we have now that we have taken the assessment twice. So a few reminders about our MAP growth assessment. Part of the APS Academic Recovery Plan, the MAP growth assessments are part of the plan. The MAP growth assessment is aligned to our district strategic plan. Students take in grades pre-K through 2 the MAP reading fluency assessment. In grades K through 12, they take the MAP growth assessment for math and also the MAP growth assessment for reading. This serves as the first time that APS has had a K through 12 universal screener for all students in APS. So a little bit about our MAP timeline and completion rates. So in the fall, we had our first MAP assessment. We took that August 23rd through September 13th. We tested 92.5% of APS students in pre-K through 2 for reading fluency and MAP growth reading and math. Our winter testing window was November 29th through January 14th. And at that time, we tested 95% of our APS students in MAP reading fluency and MAP growth reading and MAP growth math. So we tested slightly better, slightly more students this time than we did the first time. We are now in the middle of our final spring testing window, which began on March 7th and will end on March 28th. So as I said, we want to tell you a little bit more about our MAP growth assessment, but first we will want to hear Lila's story and about how she uses MAP data.
Hi, I'm in third grade. My name is Lila. A few days ago, it was parent-teacher conferences. My mom and dad both went with me. They used to be teachers, and my dad knows all about the MAP test. They had lots of questions. They really like to ask questions. But I surprised them. Before they asked my teacher, I took them to my desk to see my MAP goal sheet. And I explained how MAP shows me what I'm good at, what I need to get better at, and how I use that to set my goals for the next time. I told him how much I like seeing my scores. He asked me why. I think he was a little bit surprised. So I asked him, Dad, remember how every year on my birthday you made a mark on the door to show how much I grew? That's how MAP works. Each time I take the test, it's like I get to make another mark on the wall. Then I set goals, then I keep growing. It was really fun to take my parents to each class and show them how much I had grown and learned. That makes me really happy. They both looked happy too.
So now that your child has finished 2 MAP assessments, we wanted to revisit the family report. As we look at the family report, there are 3 important words we want you to remember. RIT score, which is a measurement scale developed to simplify how we understand MAP test scores. Achievement percentile, which tells us how well a student performed in comparison to similar students. And then finally, growth percentile, which tells us how much a student has grown in comparison to similar students. Remember, we looked at this slide in our last parent cluster session. It provides a summary of key results from a given test term, summary of all the subjects tested for a student. It is organized by term and provides your students relative strengths and weaknesses. The family report makes it easy to see not only how your child is achieving, but also how they are growing. So when you look at this slide, you see achievement first. This is an example of a family report for a student named Christopher. We are looking at the math section. Let's first look at Christopher's achievement percentile. You can see that Christopher had a RIT score of 178 in the fall of 2018. His RIT score increased by 8 points to 186 in the winter of 2018. By the fall of 2019, Christopher's RIT score has reached 201. In the fall of 2019, Christopher is at the 47th percentile, which means he scored better than 47% of his peers. Now let's look at Christopher's growth percentile. The growth side on the right side of the report shows you that Christopher is at the 96th percentile in math. This means that he made more progress than 96% of his peers. The family report also includes projections that let you know how well your child will perform on future assessments like our milestones test, ACT, and SAT exams. While Christopher has shown a lot of growth this year, right now he is only on track to be basic on the state test. For your child, you might see that he or she is likely to score in the beginning, developing, proficient, or distinguished levels on the milestone assessment. You should see these same 2 components for every assessment that your child took, achievement percentile and growth percentile. So how can you use your child's winter 2022 MAP scores? You can use this to help your child set goals. As I said earlier, each student is now beginning to take the MAP assessment for the 3rd time. So you can talk to your child about some of the questions we have listed below. So you can ask them, what do you notice about your MAP scores? Why do you think you scored higher or lower at this time? Does this graph match what you know about your ability in a specific learning area? What is your goal for the spring MAP assessment? What will you do to reach your goal? How can I help you to reach your goal? These are just some of the questions you might ask your child as they prepare to take the spring MAP assessment. You should also see a section on the family report that includes some questions that you can ask your child's teacher or principal. Please use these questions in a parent conference or phone calls with parents or with your teacher or your child's principal, just to find out a little bit more about their score and how you might be able to help them at home. How are we using Winter 2022 MAP scores? We are using these scores to inform instruction and to help teachers determine what best to teach to your child, to personalize learning for each student. So the MAP tells us strengths and weaknesses, so we know exactly which work to target for your specific child, to monitor the growth of individual students, so we can see how students have performed from the beginning of the year, and now we'll be able to see the end of the year data, to plan for intervention. So as you know, each school has an intervention block, class, or course. And so we use this data to help us determine what happens during that time, and also to see the performance and progress of a grade level, school, or the entire district. So as a reminder, our spring MAP testing dates are occurring right now. We started on Monday, March 7th, and we will continue through Monday, March 28th. Your child's school should let you know the specific date that your child will take the MAP test. Make sure that your child gets a good night's rest. Make sure that your child is on time to school and ready to take their test and do their very best. And talk to your child about their MAP goals and doing their best on the test. And at this time, I will turn it over to Dr. Shannon Hervey for our Universal Screener for Behavior.
Good afternoon. And like Dr. Florence said, I'll be bringing you updates about the BAS-3 BEST, which is our social emotional behavior screener. Next slide. As you know, this school year, the district rolled out its first ever universal social emotional behavior screener, which is the BAS-3 BEST. To refresh your memory, the BEST screens for a variety of behavior and emotional disorders that can lead to adjustment problems in students. This social emotional behavior screener has provided schools with the data that is needed to help them to make programming and personnel decisions that serve in the best interest of supporting the needs of students. These are just a few stats from the fall administration. We partnered with WestEd to comprise the early warning system and the response protocol that guides school responses to students who have elevated and extremely elevated risks. 21 district staff members were trained on Review 360, which is the tool that houses the screener. Principals and school staff members were oriented to the process and the response protocol. 225 school screener ambassadors from across the district were trained on Review 360. 2,092 teachers provided screener information on over 28,000 students. And over 21,000 students completed the student self-report assessment. Last but certainly not least, I cannot forget about you parents. We received parent forms from more than 3,000 students. That being said, we had a strong start to our first administration, but we look forward to getting better and better. Next slide. Here you see our response protocol, which is the guide that has been drafted for schools to help them to navigate the response to our students and the outcome of the screening. Within the first 3 days after the screener has been administered at your student's school, school screener ambassadors begin the work of reviewing reports to identify those students with outcomes that have been noted as elevated or extremely elevated for risk. They also ensure that those names are communicated to the designated school-based student support staff member to begin the process of confirming risks and further assessing the need for support. Staff are always busy making contact with parents and guardians during this time to discuss the risk and formulate recommendations for support. Once risk is confirmed, the school care team steps into place for further discussion and integrated student support case management. This helps to plan and match student risks and student needs across multiple disciplines of support. That's inclusive of teachers, counselors, social workers, behavior specialists, etc. 2 weeks beyond the first day of administration, the work continues, and our schools are hard at work reviewing data and finalizing school-based decisions that should serve to enhance or expand the student and staff supports offered at schools. Above and beyond the screener implementation window, our school staff will continue the ongoing assessment support and monitoring of progress to support students. Next slide. Parents, we thank you for all that you do, and we need your continued support with the district-wide screening. Here are some of the ways that parents can further support this effort. 1, be open to communicating with your child's school about your concerns or teacher concerns. 2, you know your child best, so please work in conjunction with your child's school to provide insight and recommendations for how your child can best be supported. 3, use the score reports that will be provided to you as a starting point to engage in conversation with your student. 4, last, but again not least, once recommendations for strategies and interventions are rolled out, update your child's school to what you have observed and how your child is responding to those strategies and interventions. We can't do this work without you, so your engagement, teamwork, and collaboration are essential. This is a recap of our spring administration timeline. Many of these dates have passed. It should be noted that the window for the spring administration was extended, and schools had until yesterday, which was the 9th, to administer the BAS 3 BIS. Although the window was extended, it does not impact the window of score reports going home. Schools will send home score reports between March the 14th and March the 25th. As always, if you have any questions regarding the BAS 3 BIS, you can visit the Social Emotional Behavior Frequently Asked Questions page on the APS website, or you can reach out to your student school counselor. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Good evening again, families and parents. Are you interested in learning more about Atlanta Public Schools data? APS Insights is the data website for Atlanta Public Schools. To access APS Insights, please go to www.apsinsights.org. Next slide. On our website, we offer 2 types of data: blogs and school profiles. Blog posts include interactive visualizations of official state data. These are released as data from the Georgia Department of Education, and the Governor's Office of Student Achievement release data files to us. In addition, we have school profile data on APS Insights. On the school profiles, you can find information on your school's College and Career Ready Performance Index, also known as CCRPI. This is the state of Georgia's school rating system. Data included in the CCRPI index includes milestone proficiency information, students' growth data, school climate measures, and student attendance. Please note the Georgia Department of Education paused CCRPI in 2020 and 2021 as a result of learning interruptions from the pandemic. As a result, these data points I just listed are only available through 2019. CCRPI will be resurrected this school year, and we expect to update many of these data points fall 2022. On the school profiles, you can find current enrollment data for 2022 for all students and by subgroups. To access this information from our main website, you can click the blue rectangle that says School Profiles. From there, you can select grade level that you're interested in and the school from the drop-down menus. And from there, you can learn anything new about your school. Next slide. So again, to learn more about your school or any Atlanta Public Schools, you can access APS Insights. Also, to access our blogs in the upper right-hand corner, you can select the blog button from the main webpage. On this page, you can find a variety of blog information. Next slide. Our most recent blogs include APS enrollment data which includes trends over the last 27 years. You may also view information about our cohort 2021 graduates. To be updated on new blogs, please subscribe to our website by selecting subscribe in the lower left right-hand corner and enter your email address. You will receive an email notification each time a new blog becomes available, such as our map assessment data that will be available this spring. Next slide. At this time, I will pause for any questions.
Parents, we thank you for joining us this evening. We hope that you have found our meeting to be engaging and informative. This meeting will be posted on our YouTube site, so please feel free to go back and watch it if you have any additional questions. Thank you and have a great evening.